Hi everyone, in this part we're gonna build the post model endpoints like get, store, update, delete, and upload image. In the previous video we just implement the register and the login endpoints for the user model. Now first things we need to create the post controller, PHP artisan make controller, post controller, and then we need to create the model for the post controller, post with the migration-m, and then here our post table, it is going to have 3 columns. Here the first column it is going to be title, the second one post contents, and the last one it is going to be the image. And then we need to do migration in order to create our post table like this. And then here we need to specify fillable attributes like name. We need to specify fillable, it is going to be here title, post content, and the image. But the image it is going to be nullable. I forgot to add here nullable methods. Now we need to roll back our migration. We're going to do PHP artisan migrate rollback, and then PHP artisan migrate. Now we need to move into the post controller. Then here we're gonna import the validator class for validating our inputs, and then we're gonna use also the DB class, but also we need to import the post model within the post controller, ports here, and then here we need to start with the get endpoints, get ports. This method it is going to handle search pagination, and now here we are going to request the query, and then here we need to do post. We're going to do data. We're going to create a data variable. We're going to store our post. Then we're going to pass here the post. We're going to do DB. We're going to use the DB class post, and then here we are going to check if the query variable is not null. Here is not null. We're going to pass here query, and then here we are going to do post, and then we're going to pass the data. We are making here chaining, then word title like here we're going to do this. Here we're going to pass here the query. Here we are checking if within the query parameter it is not empty. If it is not empty, we are going to run this instruction right here, and then we are going to return this response. We're going to return post right here with the paginate 10 with 200 response. Else if the query parameter, else if the query string parameter it is empty, we are going to return this. We're going to do post, we're going to do only data paginate, and then we're going to return this. Now we need to create the store function. Here we need first to do validation. We are going to get access to all, and here we are going to request first all fields. Here we're going to do request row, and then here we're gonna need to do validation. We are going to use the validator class make. Here we pass fields, and then here we are going to request the title. We're going to say it is going to be required, and the post content is going to be required too. Now we need to check if our validation rule, and then we need to check if our validation doesn't fail. We are going to do errors that fails. Then here we are going to, if our validation fails, we are going to return this response, which is going to return an array of errors, to errors, errors, that's all. Errors method, that's all. With a status of 422 unprocessable entity. And then here we are going to create the post. Create post, and then the post is going to have the title. Here the title, feeds title, and the post content. Post content. Now we need to return a response of the created post. Return response post with 201 status. Now let's first test our store and get post methods. We need to create these endpoints. We're going to create the get endpoints and the store endpoints controller within the. Let's first import the post controller within the API. Within the API, that's PHP. Now here we need to create the get endpoints. Here we're going to do post, and here it is going to point to the get post method. Here we're going to pass post controller. We need to create another endpoint which is the store, which is going to store this one is going to be a get, and this one is going to be the post endpoint, which is going to point to the store methods. Now let's open postman to test if endpoints for the post model and the get post endpoint, it is working pretty well. Now here we are going to pass here post. Let's check first the get endpoint. You can see our server, it is not running. Let's start our server. PHP isn't save, and then we need to do get. Yeah, you can see here, guys, we are getting an error within the post controller. Let's do this to see on line 22. We're getting here an error, guys. Here you can see we didn't add a semicolon. That's why we have get this error. Now you can see here, it seems that our gets endpoints for the post model, it is working. Let's now try the store endpoints. Say post here. Now here we need to provide two key for the post. We're going to provide the title. The title, we're going to say how to learn TypeScript. And the second key, it is going to be post content. Content, da da da. Alright, and you can see, guys, we just created a post. Now we need to check if the get endpoint, it is working pretty well. Yeah, you can see the get endpoint return data. Now we need to create another endpoint. Let's see here within the API.php. We need to create the update endpoint. This, and then here post, it is going to point to update method within the post controller. Here we need to do this function update, and then here we're going to request. We're going to pass the request class. We're going to pass here an ID of a post like this, and then we're going to do post where ID, and then we're going to pass the ID updates. But also here we're going to pass to key the title and the post content. Now we need to return a response with a status of 200. Return response. Here, message. It's going to be post updated, and then here 200 response. And then if we go back within the API.php file, you can see here we have passed the post method for the updates, for updating the post instead of the put verb. As you know, we pass the puts instead of the post for updating an item within the database. We pass the post. Now we need to check if the post here, we forgot to add one more things. Here we have to add also the ID, and then here we need to pass here the post. Here we're going to pass here the ID. You can see here our post. In the database we got only one post, and we need to modify the content. Now let's try to modify the content. How to learn TypeScript. We're going to set the content. Go check it out. Wizard Engineer tutorial. And then here, let's try to modify the content. And here, the get, let's try to modify the verb to change it to puts. Yeah, post updated. And if we try to get the post, get here, you can see that we just updated the post within our database. Here you can see, go check it out with it tutorial. Now the next things is to create the delete endpoints for the post model. We're gonna copy this. We're gonna use the delete HTTP verb. Destroy. You're gonna point to destroy methods. Then let's move to the destroy. Here you can see here we need to pass here the delete function. Delete. Here you can see post deleted. Now let's try here. You're going to say destroy. Yeah, you can see that we just deleted a post. Now let's try to get all the posts. Here you can see we are getting an empty array here because we doesn't have any posts within our database. And let's try to add two posts within the post table and try to check if the get the search it is working pretty well within the get post endpoints. Now here let's go to the post and create two posts. Right here we're going to create the first one. The second one, it is going to how to learn JavaScript, and then the content it's going to say go to say content . Here you can see if we go back to the get endpoints of the post model, you can see here our get endpoint, it is returning an array which contains two posts. And then let's try to add a search query. Search here. We are going to check if we are going to get one of these posts. We are going to, let's say, we're going to pass the value. We're going to say how to learn TypeScript. Let's see what we get. Here we are going to, here you can see we just get the second, the post with the ID of 2. Here, how to learn TypeScript. Repeat again. Now let's create the endpoints that we're gonna use to upload the image within our application. We're gonna use the post HTTP verb and do post and then upload image. Then here the post controller class, and within the post controller we're gonna create a method add image. Now let's get into the post controller and create this function add image. We're gonna pass it the request class. And the first thing we need to request all our fields. And here request.all, and here let's create errors where we are going to store the errors variable. It is going to return an array of errors. Now we're gonna validate all our fields. Then here we're going to pass the inputs that we are going to validate, the post ID. We're going to say it is going to be required, and the image, it is going to be required. But also the input image, we're going to say it is going to be a type of an image, and the size of this image, it is going to be 2 megabytes. Now we need to return an array of errors in case our validation fails. We're going to do errors that fails. If true, we are going to return an array of errors with a status of 422, which means unprocessable entity errors. That's all. Here we pass here 422. Now we need to check if within the request we got a file, which is the image post. And then we're going to do request has file. Now here we need to create the image, and then we're going to store within it the image file. And here we need now to get the extension of the image. We're going to store it within the array. It is going to have a file key, and we're going to pass it the time function. We are going to get the current time, and then we're going to do image that's get client's original extension. Get client's original extension. And here we're going to use the storage class to upload the image. We're going to move the image from our computer to the web server. And here we need to import this class, use storage. And here let's try to check if it is going to work. Now here, let me save. And let's move to the postman to check if these endpoints work pretty well. Now here, let's add here /upload image. Let me zoom a little bit. I think, guys, you are a good view. Now here we need to select form data, and then here we need to pass the key, which is the image, and we need to select the file. And here let's select a file from our computer. Let's select my image, and here let's send. Here we have to change the verb to post. Now let's see. Here the post ID field is required. Now we need to pass also the post ID. You can see that the validation it is working pretty well. Post ID. It is going to be a test. Let's pass a random number and see. Okay. Here it seems that we just upload the image because we doesn't get any error. Let's move to the storage, app, public, and you can see here we just upload my image within the application. Here you can see just upload my image. Now how can we retrieve this image? Here we are going to use another class, the URL. Use URL. We are going to store the path of the image within the database instead of the image. Now here we need to use the URL, and then here we need to return the current URL, and the image, it is within the storage folder /images and here we are passing the image file. And then here, let me see how we can display this image. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. As you know, you can see this is the name of the image. Now within the browser, if we need to get access to this image, we need to pass first the main URL, which is the localhost, and then here we have to pass storage slash images slash the name of the image JPEG. And you can see, let's get the extension of the image. The extension is JPEG file. Here, let's see why we doesn't get the image within the browser. Image storage. Now let's see. Alright, let's check this. Now let's first return a response of the imported image. To see, we are going to pass here image URL and see what we get. Let's move to the Postman and try to upload again. Here we are getting the path of the image. This is the path. If we copy this within the browser, we are going to display the image. We doesn't display the image because we haven't yet create a link between the public folder to their storage folder. We need to create a symbol link by doing php artisan storage link. Now it is going to work. And once done, you can go now within the browser and tap again, and then you can see the image. Now we need to store this path right here within the database. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna tap the post model double colon where ID, it is request post ID, and then we are going to update. We're going to update the image. We're going to pass it this URL, and then we are going to return a response. We're going to return a message, image post image uploaded with a status of 200. Now I think it is working pretty well. Now let's try to upload another image. Here, let's use first the get endpoints. Here, let me do this. Here you can see we got two posts within our post table, and the first one has an ID of 2. Now let's try to add an image for this post right here. Now we're gonna pick the ID 2. Here we go to the errors. Let's move here. Now let's move to the form data, and the post ID is going to be 2. And then let's select an image. Yeah, you can see that here. Let's try to import this image, upload image, and then we change the HTTP verb to post. Yeah, we got a message, post image uploaded. And now if we go to the get endpoints, here we change to the get. Here you're going to see that our post has been updated. Yeah, you can see we're just getting here the path of the image, and that's how we can use Postman to upload the image to Laravel. Now the next thing is to secure our endpoints with Laravel Sanctum. Here you can see here our endpoints aren't secure. We need to secure all these endpoints, and that's what we're gonna do within the next video. I see you there.